Hello everyone, welcome. This is Mompreneurs to Millionaires. So glad you are here. Today we are talking about how to get more clients using Facebook groups, but overall how to get more clients. Tell me below who could use some more clients. Give me a little wave or a thumbs up below. Let me know if you feel like you have been posting and hoping, right? Tell me below if you feel like you have been doing all the things, putting out content, and no one is seeing or responding, right? I call that posting and hoping. That can be so frustrating. Tell me below if you feel like you've been posting and hoping. Oh my gosh, so many entrepreneurs get stuck in this cycle. I was there for years. I was stuck for years, stuck in a posting and just waiting for my content to land on the right people. Newsflash, it never came. So tell me below. Hopefully you're going to get some nuggets today that will help move you forward. Let me know if you're watching on the live, just type live below, or let me know if you're watching on the replay, just say replay below. I'd love to know who's coming in the day of and who's coming in afterwards. Awesome, thanks so much for being here. So today we're going to talk about the 3 easy ways to get clients. It's a really simple process. If you're doing these 3 things, you should be getting clients. This is my simplest way to get clients. Then within that, we're going to talk about my 5-step framework on how to grow your Facebook group and get clients converting from your Facebook group. So we're going to talk about my 5-step framework as well as those 3 kind of easy steps to get clients. So stick around. It's definitely, you're not going to want to miss it. Thanks so much to everyone who voted. Every week I put out a little poll inside my Facebook group where you can vote on whichever topic is appealing to you. I'd love to hear any suggestions. Feel free to drop suggestions of topics that would be helpful to your business, or you can just vote on the topic. You can always reach out to me as well if you feel like there's a topic, gosh, if I had a little more knowledge on this, or if I could ask some questions on this, that would be really, really helpful. So feel free to drop those in the comments below. Awesome, so you are a go-getter. I know you are here because you are resourceful. You want to get a little nugget out of today's video, today's topic. So with that, I invite you to put on your abundance crown. I'm calling it a crown because you are a goddess. Every one of you has a goddess within, and you have the power. You have the power to make change. You have the power. All things are possible. To me, that's what abundance means. All things are possible. All your dreams, everything is possible, but you have the power to change, right? Unfortunately, no one is coming to save your business, right? It is up to you. It is up to you to learn new strategies, to change your mindset, and that is what I'm here for. So with your crown, I would invite you to open your mind a little bit and write down 2 things today that stuck out. I want you to take something away from this video, right? All the free material in the world, all the free classes, all the free videos are not going to move your business forward unless you take action. So I would love for you to write down 2 things that you hear today that either changed your mind, was an aha moment, maybe some action items that you can implement yourself. So write down 2 things that stuck out to you, and I'd love to hear them below, or you can always message me privately as well. But I want you to get something out of this, right? So that is the goal. To me, DIY, unfortunately, I spent years in trial and error mode. Doing it yourself is the slowest way to grow. Fail, succeed, grow. You're not sure what's going to happen, but it's the slowest way to get there. Wouldn't you rather level up and get there quicker? So to me, investing in yourself, learning from the people around you, getting mentors, getting coaches, to me, that is the easiest way to up-level your business. Learn from those who have made all the mistakes, right? So that you don't have to. So if you are at all interested in up-leveling your business, if you are tired of posting and hoping and you're tired of downloading free material and you are just ready for the faster track, let's talk. I would love to chat. I always start with a free Leads Audit or marketing consulting, whatever you want to call it, but we look at your overall marketing system to figure out where the gaps are in your knowledge, where the gaps are in your strategy, what's falling apart, because by all means, you're not doing everything wrong, right? By any means, you're doing a lot of things. You're doing all the things. You're doing a lot of things right. It may just be the pieces are not connected. So I would love to help you connect those pieces and make sure that you're getting leads and that are turning into clients. So you're not stuck just posting and hoping. You are not meant to do this alone, right? That is one of the biggest lessons I think I have learned, is that women especially, we want to be in community together, but you are not meant to do this business alone. You are meant to surround yourself with people who have done it, surround yourself with people who are moving up and bringing you with me, right? That is always my goal. I'm a big believer in sharing knowledge and sharing resources so that we can all grow together, right? Money in the hands of good people, of good women, can change the world faster. That is my big belief. So I'm so glad you're here. Definitely stick around. We're going to talk all about the things. I always like to leave you with a little bit of mindset, right? I do believe that fear is what is holding many women back. I see this so much. Fear is a liar, a big fat liar. Fear is telling you those old stories that you've seen time and time again and you think are going to happen again, right? Fear is keeping you small. If you feel like there are things that are holding you back, if you feel like there is a fear inside of you, and many may not call it fear, right? It manifests in a lot of different ways. I definitely think many women are afraid of being salesy, right? Tell me below if you feel like you are afraid of being too salesy. To me, that is the number one piece that I see so many of my clients struggle with, is that because as women, right, we are taught to be polite above all else. Don't be salesy. Nobody wants to be sold to. Nobody wants to be too pushy. But I would argue that so many women err too far on the side of not being direct enough, right? We are so afraid of being salesy that we're not even talking about our businesses. We're not even directly asking for people who are legitimately interested. That's what I find more often than not. Very rarely do I find someone who's being far too pushy. Obviously, there are those cold DMs, like I always say, that you get that can feel not great. And that gets a bad rep for all of us, right? Every cold DM, every salesy push that you get stops you from wanting to be direct about your business, right? So definitely check in with yourself and notice if you get a cold DM, or if you get a link, or if you get a message, or if you get a feeling or a post that makes you feel kind of ick. Try to figure out what it is that is making you feel that way. Is it that they are being way too direct and not speaking to you? Is it that they are not helping you feel seen or heard? Is it that they are not connecting first with you as a person, as a human being? Because those are all the pieces that are going to matter in how you align yourself. To me, I think all women are a beautiful sales goddess. That is the power within. And you can feel aligned, right? Not every sales strategy is going to be the same for every person, but I definitely believe every woman, every single woman has a salesperson within. You just have to find the aligned place that feels good to you, a strategy and a system and the words that are going to make you feel better about selling, serving your clients, right? I always like to think of it as serving, because there are people who need your perspective and your unique gifts and talents and services and offers and products. There are people right now who need you. So by not being direct and not putting yourself out there, that is only fear creeping up and trying to keep you small, right? But those people will not hear from you if you don't talk about it, right? So talk about it. Talk about your business. All right. So if you at all struggle with, I love talking about mindset with my clients. If you are at all struggling with any type of leads, strategy, sales, mindset, I love talking about all those things with my clients. Feel free to just say strategy if you're at all interested in chatting about any of those things. I'd love to chat. All right, so if you're new here, my name's Christina. I always love talking about the bike shop. Many of you have heard so much about the bike shop, but I always like to say back in 2010, I started my first little Etsy shop, and that was really my first little business, my first entrepreneurial step out. And what I quickly learned is that the internet is gigantic, right? How many of you feel like all of a sudden you're like, wow, the internet is way bigger than I thought, right? I mean, that was back in 2010. It's only gotten bigger. But what I quickly realized is you cannot just build it and hope that people show up, right? You cannot just put your shop out there, put your wares, put your services. You cannot just post and hope. You cannot just build it and hope that people will come, right? Unfortunately, people just don't show up. So what I found at Etsy way back then with the Etsy shop was I found other Etsy owners in Facebook groups. And I wish I had remembered that lesson far sooner than I did. But fast forward to the bike shop. I love talking about the bike shop. It was a bike shop, coffee shop. My husband and I opened. He liked bikes. I liked coffee. And it was so much fun. It was a brick and mortar. We learned so much. But again, smacked in the face with that giant lesson. If you build it, set up the perfect shop, location, services, colors, all the things, bikes, coffee, people don't just come up. right? People don't just show up. You have to go to them. So that is really part of the lesson and part of my 3 ways that we're going to talk about here in a minute. But again, what was so successful at the bike shop was we had created a Facebook group. What I think is so valuable about a Facebook group is that you are building a community of loyal supporters around your business. It is a great place for people to get to know you, your perspective, and feel like they are seen, heard, and belong, right? That is the biggest part of, I think, being in a community with other people, is that it's your tribe. You feel like you are like-minded, moving towards the same goals, and you get support from each other. That is the best part of being in a community. So with that bike shop, that Facebook group that we had started, it is such a testament to the idea of being in a community with like-minded people. We shut that bike shop in 2016. 10 years later, there are still people getting together in that Facebook group, going on bike rides, right? What a testament to this idea of building a community around your business, right? People want to support you. They want to be part of something. They want to see you in your journey, and they want to get to know you. It's a great place to really get to know your audience. So it wasn't until I hired a coach that I finally realized that I needed a Facebook group for my own business. So after we shut the bike shop, I turned it into my mission because I wanted to help other women business owners not to have to close their doors like I did, right? It was such a learning experience at the bike shop. I'm so glad it happened, but I'm so glad it failed. It was a heartbreak, but I'm so glad that it ended, because now I get to help women and help them grow their business. And it wasn't, again, until I hired a coach that I realized that lesson time and time again, that if you build it, they don't just come. That having a Facebook group of your own is the easiest way to get leads every single day, a predictable flow of leads coming into your business every day, so that you can warm them up and turn them into paying clients. So to me, that is the biggest lesson that I have learned. To me, every successful coach that I have met uses other coaches, right? That is the easiest way to level up your business, is to learn from the people around you. So that was definitely a really important lesson that I would love to pass on to you. So definitely, I think that Facebook groups is the easiest way. To me, content is no longer converting the way that we think it does, or hope, or maybe if it ever was, right? To me, community is far more converting. Relationships are actually what turn into paying clients, not just your content alone, right? Think about your own habits. How often do you see one post, click, and buy, right? Very rarely. It is going to take some warming up. It is going to take some relationship, especially if you are in the higher ticket market, right? If you are wanting to sell higher ticket items and services, you need to have a relationship. You need to warm someone up. You need to build that relationship so they can love you, know you, trust you, right? Trust you with their investment dollars. So that is really important. So that is the whole goal of the Facebook group. To me, I think it's the easiest place to warm people up. So with that, we're going to talk about my 3 easy ways to get clients. So this is it. This is the sauce. So number 1, you have to go to them, right? At the bike shop, we were just waiting, right? We waited forever. And then finally we thought, okay, well, it was very clear. I need people in the door like yesterday. So it was very clear you have to go to them. So that is my number 1. Figure out who your audience is and go to them. Go where they are. Figure out where they hang out and go to them. This can be reaching out in messages. This can be hanging out where they're at. If they're over on TikTok, if they're on Instagram, find your people, follow them, and they will follow you back. Comment on their stuff and they will comment back. Go to your audience. You have far more power than that, than just posting and waiting for the right people to find you, right? So number 1, go to them. That's number 1. Number 2 is you need to warm them up, right? Like I said, no one is just clicking one post and buying. You need a way to warm them up, some type of container. And that's why I think the Facebook group is the easiest container to warm people up, to get loyal supporters surrounding your business, loving your journey, loving you, and getting to know you and your unique perspective. So the Facebook group is the easiest place to warm people up. So you've got to get them in your container, right? You could also use an email list. And I would argue you could absolutely do an email list and your Facebook group, because if Facebook shuts down tomorrow, right, you don't own anything in your business. You need at least one asset, and that asset is your email list. So definitely you should always be building your email list, because none of the social media platforms, right, are really an audience that you own. Only your email list. So it's a great way. The Facebook group is an easy way to start building your email list as well. So that is a great warm-up container. I think that is the easiest way to get people into your world and getting to know you and getting to know your system. So warm people up. That's number 2. And then number 3 is follow up. So many people are not following up. If someone has liked your post, commented on your post, and you've checked them out and you think they're perfect in your target audience, start a conversation with them, right? I don't think that's a cold DM if they have liked your stuff. I would argue give them another reason to say yes to something, right? And inside your Facebook group, that is the easiest place to do that. Once they say yes to something, that's on you, right? That is your business to go to them and offer that thing that they said yes to. Start a conversation, right? Start it in the DMs. So we're going to talk more about that with my 5-step framework. But definitely you need a follow-up strategy. I hear this so much that like 20%, maybe even less, of businesses out there are actually following up, and it's probably going to take more than once, right? I hear this so much. If you feel like you have followed up once and you call it ghost, oh, they never responded, so they must not be interested. No, that is your fear, right? That is your fear creeping up again and telling you a story that they probably didn't like you or are not interested. No, unless they say no, it is not a no, right? Follow up. They forgot. Look at your own habits, right? How many messages get pushed down and you completely forgot all about them? How many posts have you liked, legitimately been interested in what they offer, and never saw from them again, right? You could have 1,000 followers. I say this all the time. You could have 1,000 followers and not one of them is seeing your post. That is so frustrating, right? And if they see one post, they may never see your post again. And that's the end of that relationship. They followed you for a reason. They liked your content for a reason. Follow up. Find a way to follow up or give them a reason to say yes to something. I think that's an even better place for them to take action. And again, that is what I think the Facebook group is the best at utilizing, getting people to take action. Because over on your social media profiles, right, it is really hard to get people to take action. And you don't have necessarily control over who follows you, but you have full control over who gets in your Facebook group. This is the best way to qualify your people and get them into something. Okay, so now we're going to go into what I think is the real secret sauce, my 5-step framework. So I call this the GROWS method. It is GROWS. It is the easiest way to grow your Facebook group and really get it converting, right? That is the goal. You really want to get clients out of your Facebook group. So this is the framework. So the first step is really G, get clear on your audience. To me, this is so important. I always go back to the bike shop with this. We started the bike shop thinking that our audience was high-end cyclists, right? Why not? We saw all these giant groups of high-end cyclists going through our town on Saturday mornings. Wouldn't they love a place to stop for coffee and check their brakes, right? We thought this was the perfect combination. So we thought this was our audience. Come to find out, so we spent lots of dollars, a big investment on higher end bicycles, higher end parts, higher end brands, higher end stuff, right? Come to find out, those cyclists already have their bike shops that they go to, are already loyal to a place, and frankly, already have their bike routes. They don't want to change. They don't want to come and stop their bike route. Some of them came in, but they often wanted to buy their own parts and do their own stuff, right? So we found that families in a mid-ticket range were our bread and butter. That was really who we wanted to serve, and there were far more families getting kids on bikes in our community than those high-end cyclists, right? So I wish we had evaluated that a little bit more or waited until we opened the shop. So to me, get clear on your audience. G, get clear on your audience. That is number one. And I would argue, evaluate it, redefine it, reevaluate it every year, right? Figure out, is this really who I'm serving? Is this really who I want to work with? Is this really who is resonating with my stuff already, right? So get clear on your audience. That is definitely number one. And I would argue to revisit that a few times. Number two, step two, is our right questions. To me, the entry questions to your Facebook group is the key to everything. I call these the qualifying questions. So the right questions are key to everything. So upon entry, when people enter your Facebook group, you get typically 3 questions that you get to ask. And these are your qualifying questions. So like we said over on your social media profile, you cannot control your followers. Inside your Facebook group, you get to decide who gets in. And the best way to do this is with these 3 qualifying questions. So I always think the first question should be some type of self-selecting, are you this person, right? Are you someone who struggles with XYZ, right? You could do pain points, you could do results that they're looking for, you could do things that they're interested in, right? The second question should be building your email list. So some type of, do you want this freebie? Drop your email. And the third question should be, I think, your gateway entry level. So if this is a free audit, a call, some way to start a conversation, this is where you want a bunch of yeses. Then all you have to do is follow up with the yeses, right? Wouldn't that be great if you woke up to a bunch of yeses tomorrow? All you had to do is follow up, right? That is the goal. That is the goal. Give them opportunities to say yes to things so that you can start a conversation and you can get them on a call and you can offer your services, right? Give them a quick win and then offer your services. That is the goal. So definitely that is, I think the most important is number 2 are right questions. So ask the right questions upon entry into your Facebook group. To me, that is the biggest key to all of this, is getting people to say yes to things. All right, number 3, O. So other Facebook groups. So using other Facebook groups very strategically, right? And I get a lot of pushback at this point, right? There are a lot of Facebook groups and there are a lot of spammy Facebook groups out there. So figuring out which groups, number 1, right? And you can be very strategic about this. I would definitely look at the groups that you're already in and notice if there are a bunch of posts and no one is commenting on those posts. To me, that's a spammy group, right? You can have 100,000 member group and no one is responding in the comments. That is a bunch of posting and dropping and ditching, right? Pitching and ditching. You want to have a group that has a lot of members, and it could still be a smaller group, right? 1,000 members, but that is highly engaged. That is a much more attractive group than a huge group with no engagement, right? You definitely want to get more engagement and figure out which of those groups are good for you. So you want to figure out who your audience is in order to figure out what groups that they're hanging out in, right? So this is a really strategic part of figuring out which groups are going to be best for you. And this may take some time, right? Of course. So check out the groups that you're in, and this can be a little more nuanced, right? There may be some groups that are outside of your target audience, but might be perfect for either referral partners or really people who are advertising their business may be your perfect target audience, right? So they may be in these other groups, maybe not for the purpose that you are serving them, but for another purpose that they might be your perfect target audience. So definitely think a little bit outside the box, right? I would say this with your target audience and with your other Facebook groups. So other Facebook groups, that is number 3. Number 4 is W, warm DMs. Warm DMs, right? You have to go to them. After you figure out who your audience is, where they're hanging out, and you're posting in other Facebook groups, they've come into your Facebook group. They may or may not have come into your Facebook group, but if they have said yes to something, you need to follow up. That is your follow-up strategy. Go to them in the DMs. That is your power, right? If they have commented on your post, if they have said yes to something, if they have said they're interested in this link, if they have shown interest, send them a DM. This is the easiest way to start a relationship. Start a conversation and be a genuine human, right? Even if they wanted a link, I rarely start with the link as the first message, right? If they really wanted that link, sometimes I'll send the link, but often ask if they want the link. Start a genuine conversation. Hey, I saw that you were interested in my workshop on XYZ. Do you want the link? That's a great first message, right? Be a genuine human. So many of us get cold DMs, and there's a big difference between cold DMs and warm DMs, right? You want to give them reasons to say yes, and then it's your job to follow up. So to me, that is the key. W is warm DMs. Find ways to warm people up and then send them a DM. Start the conversation in the DMs. And this is what I would say about content, right? Is you want to have headspace to be hanging out in the DMs and the comments. So to me, content is not the focus. I would much rather content to be on the back burner. If you feel like you need to post every day and that is overwhelming you, I would say stop posting, right? I would much rather you be hanging out in the comments and messaging people in the DMs. That is going to get you there faster. That is going to get you paying clients because you will be building relationships far quicker in the DMs than on just regular content. If your content is not converting, I would stop doing content. I would focus on relationships and figure out how you can get people into your Facebook group, start conversations, build relationships, and that is going to convert far faster than creating a bunch of content, for sure. All right, so then the 5th and final one is S, for slay engagement. So once you get a healthy amount of people coming into your Facebook group, you need to get some engagement happening inside as well. If you have those two things happening, people coming in all the time and engaged within your Facebook group inside, Facebook is going to show your group to more people, right? This is the twofold process. You've got to have kind of both things happening, and then Facebook will do more work for you. Isn't that what we all want? But otherwise, if you are just dependent on your social media profile and dependent on the algorithm, you are dependent on those guys over in Silicon Valley, and they are never going to get the algorithm working for you and me. You are never going to be their top of mind, right? Unfortunately. So if you want to be less dependent on the algorithm, that is where I think you can take your audience to your Facebook group, and you have far more control over who sees what, who gets engagement, and there are some far easier levers to pull inside your Facebook group to get engagement. So that is the last one, S, slay engagement. You've got to figure out how to get people talking inside your group. And to me, the easiest way to do this is to ask questions. Just use color block posts and ask questions. This can be the hard part, right? If you at all have trouble with coming up with questions, or you are struggling with engagement, if you feel like you had a Facebook group and it has gone silent, I would love to help. I'm doing a VIP challenge that is 5 days, this same framework, where I have a video for each framework, and then we talk about it over in Messenger. It's just $27, and we do it together over in Messenger, where you get to apply this framework to your specific business. So if you feel like you have a new group and you're struggling with getting it started, or if you have an old group that has gone silent, this is a great next step to take to try to get your group invigorated again. It's called 50 Members in 5 Days. Grow your group 50 members in 5 days to really get that group growing again and engaged again. So that is an easy way. If you're at all interested, just say VIP below. All right, so that was the 5-step framework again. Grows. G is get clear on your audience. R, ask the right questions, entry questions upon entry into your Facebook group. O, other Facebook groups. And W, warm DMs. And then the final one, S, slay engagement. So those are the 5 steps to growing a group that is going to turn into paying clients. That is the goal. You want a predictable lead flow coming in every single day, 5 to 10 qualified leads. If that is your goal, I would love to talk more. Definitely, if your group is not engaged and is silent, I don't think any group is too dead. I absolutely think we can get it reinstated and reinvigorated again and get it engaged and turning into clients for you. So if you're all interested in that VIP challenge, just say VIP below. I would love to reach out to you. All right, that is really it for today. I always say don't waste years like I did, right? I wasted years. After we closed the bike shop, I was stuck in a posting and hoping. I felt like that was all I had control over, right? Tell me, do you feel like you only had control over your posts? You have far more power than that. Take your power back. Go to them. Start a message. Find your people. Get them in your Facebook group. Start some conversations and build relationships. To me, that is the easiest way to turn your leads into paying clients. I would never call a follower a lead, right? To me, a lead is someone who has actually taken action. A follower, you have no idea who they are, what their intentions are, how interested they are. Once they have joined your Facebook group and answered your questions, that tells you much more information. You get to see their level of interest, right? And that is far more powerful than just a regular follower or a like, right? I would never consider a like or just a comment a lead, right? Unless they have commented yes to something or a word that you ask them to comment on, right? That would maybe be a lead, but you have it's on you to follow up with them, reach out to them, start the conversation, and build that relationship, right? To me, that is the easiest way to get more clients, for sure. So like I said, DIY, doing it yourself, I think is the slowest way, right? One-on-one help to me has been the easiest way to move my business forward, to really up-level your career, up-level your income, up-level your business to the next level that you are wanting. If you would all want to talk leads, sales, strategy, or tech, a little bit of tech, right? All of us have to use a little. My biggest thing is to simplify tech. I don't think we need a bunch of third-party apps. I think what you have probably can do all the things that you need it to do right now. Of course, you can invest in bigger tech later on as you grow, but if you're just starting out and you're not sure about tech, definitely we can simplify your tech. So if any of those questions come up for you, again, I think women are sold that we don't want to be salesy, right? I think women are told to be polite above all else, right? And with that turns into the way that we sell our business, the way that we serve our customers. Your customers are waiting for you, right? You are doing them a disservice if you are not talking about your business in a way that feels aligned to you. There's a way that every woman can feel not too salesy, can be direct about her business, and that feels really good, right? All you're doing is following up with the people who really are interested. Find your people and give them a reason to say yes. All right, that is it for today. Thanks so much for sticking around.